Hey guys, thanks for joining us for today's webinar. Today we're going to be talking about how to thrive in the digital transformation age. With the help of Ed Suhu from Lenovo, we're going to be talking about how we can deliver faster solutions using hyper-converged and DevOps frameworks. Ed has been an integral part of Lenovo's data center group and has more than 25 years of experience in the high-tech industry, all focused around helping accelerate customers' time to value. Over to you, Ed.
Hello everyone, my name is Ed Suhu. I'm with Lenovo's data center group based here in Oakland, California. Thanks for giving me your time today, and I look forward to sharing some insights and perspectives as how we see digital transformation. First off, thanks to Rahi Systems for giving me the opportunity to present to you today. So a little bit about Lenovo. Lenovo delivers outcomes that moves the needle for your company. We focus on technology that matters to your business. Today, digital transformation demands are changing the way companies compete and win. And the information technology now is at the core of your challenges as you go to market today. Lenovo understands how to deliver that technology infrastructure solution from the data center to the edge of the network, which helps businesses with their business transformation journey. Transformations like next generation data center, private hybrid to public clouds environments, IoT solutions, infrastructure at the edge of the network. We provide options as well to have clients look at CapEx or OpEx options to buy their infrastructure as a service. As I begin my presentation, I want to share with you how I looked at transformation overall. And in our industry, we always talk about digital transformation. In this context, I'm going to take the word digital out and really just focus on transformation and the four-letter words that are tied to them. And how I got this concept was I was playing Scrabble with my daughter one night, and I spelled out the word transformation, and I tried to find the connected words around transformation as it pertains to business outcomes and value propositions and even technology. As I started to do that, I just started to very much just simplify my approach on how to connect words or value to transformation using four-letter words. Words like cost, core. What's my core business? What's the risk I'm trying to assess or address? Do I want to save money? What's my goal? How do I make money? And how much time do I have? As I think about it, where's my data coming from? What's my plan to put this all together? Do I have wise perceptions or perspectives with my legacy as well as my new cloud native applications that I need to build to address my business needs? What's my path? You get the gist here. This is all about four-letter words. And the last one is, as we think about how do we lead, I think this is a very critical element. Finally, if you don't address these four-letter words to every business problem that you have, the last one is oops. The good old days. I call this business as usual. These are things that we may have been familiar with in the past, where we had multiple departments and organizations from distribution to sales to manufacturing, marketing, finance, and IT, and the executive team working in concert to basically deliver applications out to the customer base. Today, it's no longer business as usual. It's moving so fast now. It feels like a blur. The demand, the pace is relentless. Today, it feels like this. Every day, a charge up the hill into a hail of arrows. Sword in hand, katana, in the Japanese samurai charge up the hill. This is a famous woodblock painting by Gekko Ogata. It's a famous battle. And it's a very interesting slide that I share with CIOs when I do my keynotes. And I share this slide because every day, in many ways, It's either our customers feeling this sort of experience and or it's our organization doing the same thing. That charge up the hill is all about disruptions. And when you think about it, software disrupts business. These disruptions are being done through applications or software. And it's not just for new companies, the ones that we know of that have really gained a lot of the headlines, from Netflix to Uber to Lyft, very disruptive. At the same time, older companies like Otis Elevator, for example, over 100 years old, selling elevators and escalators, and then basically after that doing maintenance and support, a very short life cycle from a revenue standpoint. Someone figured out at Otis that they're actually collecting a lot of data on the elevators that are going up and down, carrying people within those buildings. And from a yield management standpoint, someone captured all of that data to maximize and optimize the performance of the elevators and the experience of the people riding in the elevators and the escalators. What they were able to do was monetize that data to optimize the performance within the building. And then someone else figured out that why don't we collect all the data in all the buildings and make that data available for smart infrastructure, smart buildings. And all of a sudden, Otis Elevator became a disruptive company with taking advantage of what they do really well and then looking at and stretching their capabilities, utilizing data and applications to meet new demands and new revenue streams. So why is enabling software applications so critical? Because it touches all of your business ecosystem and constituents. Your customers, be they patients, citizens, students, guests, suppliers, partners, or employees. It never stops changing. Companies must adapt quickly to new demands and high expectations. So the big topics in the business suite is all around driving business goals. And they have to go beyond tying the conversation beyond the save agenda. Heinz is a good example of not focusing on the growth side. They thought they could save their way to profitability. They failed. They failed because they didn't understand how to focus on the growth agenda, whether it's to drive efficiencies and costs, increasing market share, or driving innovation on their now business, their new business for tomorrow, and their next business on the long horizon. Protecting and growing now is critical. Building new is absolutely important to them. And planning for the next is things that they all need to think about as they figure out their business goals. Today, our customers expect a lot. They reward a great experience and they engage with you when you deliver and execute on the promise of a great experience. Digital transformation is everywhere. And in the good old days, it was pretty easy. A kiosk, an ATM, airport check-ins, and even a mobile phone application. However, today, at 4,000 digital transactions a day now per person, we are starting to see that it's beyond just a single device. We're starting to see collaboration, communication at the speed of clicks. Cashless payment systems now, where you don't even use cash or even credit cards. You just touch a device with your wallet and you're paid. Smart homes with automated thermostats and surveillance systems and voice activated systems, as well as devices that measure our heart rate, our calorie intake, and once in a while it even tells you the time. Today, it's about all these different technologies, from IoT to vision computing, video, to AI, to big data, to 5G, and the ubiquitous cloud. At the end of the day, all of these devices and all of this connectivity drives some very interesting challenges and expectations from customers. They want that elevated convenience through technology to drive that experience. There is a rising demand for personalization and connection. And they have to blend both the physical and the digital to provide a richer experience. Our customers are so much smarter today, but they're also demanding. They're demanding because they've been consumerized. They're used to downloading applications quickly, on demand, always working, always available, and to be self-service. So given that, as we think about our customers and the applications that they're touching, it's all around different types of applications that we're looking in the marketplace today. It's no longer about big beating small. It's about fast eating slow. And when you think about all these applications that IDC has called out over the next 3 years, new applications are going to be in the range of about 500 million new applications going to be created and generated and distributed. Legacy applications going to be at least 600 million that need to be modernized to take advantage of what consumers are looking for. When you think about it, there are only 18 million developers today to address that load, that need in the marketplace. And that need is to exceed expectations of your customer. Charles Dickens had a book titled Great Expectations. It was a coming of age of the main character Pip. Today, our customers are coming of age. Their expectations are high and their demands are relentless. And we have to deliver experience and engagement that takes the customer through that life cycle. And you think about Charles Dickens' other book, Tale of Two Cities, the first line is, "It was the best of times and it was the worst of times." When you think about the experience, if you can drive a stellar experience, you're going to create a long-standing engagement with your customer. And those engagements and that experience and the expectations are going to come from three main areas. How do you manage your data? How do you transport that data? And then how do you use AI to take and deliver a predictive experience, personalization? All these things require applications. And when you think about how applications are developed, tested, QA'd, and even secured, DevOps becomes the answer for your application development. When I talked about all those applications, 1.1 billion applications that need to be addressed over the next 3 years with only 18 million developers, this is the war for talent. As you think about all the skills required for the new talent, all the skills required to be retrained, to revamp your current programmers and developers, absolutely critical to find the best talent and to nurture your current talent. And that's why the war for talent is going to be an amazing set of dynamics over the next few years. When you think about dev and ops, they actually worked in two separate silos. And there was always a brick wall, the wall of confusion that separated them. Once development finished, they would throw it over the wall to operations. In order to really build a seamless effort on both sides, they have to come together with the goal of building better quality software, more reliably, at scale, and to be much, much faster. These two teams have to come together. These two circles that you see at the top, this is the Air Force fighter pilot methodology called OODA, Observe, Orient, Decide, and Act. The fighter pilot who came up with this methodology was actually the architect behind Desert Storm. It's about fast iteration. It's about repeating and going faster and faster from lessons learned. So that's why DevOps, as we think about moving the two organizations together, they are going to learn from each other, they're going to depend on each other, and they're going to rely on their ability to communicate quickly, to take action, and to execute. The software development cycle, as dev and ops really need to work closely together, there's all the challenges that they face from what they had to use and were very comfortable with in the past of developing software and applications. In the past, it was a waterfall development cycle. Monolithic code, very little automation, tons of planning, code, and test phases, separate work streams, and build and code development were very arduous tasks. Fast forward into the agile side of the house where instead of months getting code out, test, and deploy, it took weeks. Fast forward again to today, it is about daily changes. And in design, in application fixes, mean time to repair, all these things. DevOps drives results-oriented team outcomes. They integrate all the different phases from dev to test to QA to release. And it's a highly collaborative parallel staging to drive infrastructure and code development to come together. So when you think about DevOps, it's really a pivotal part of the organization that will enable applications to be delivered, to drive expectations, to execute on the experience goal, and to drive engagement of the customer. Businesses need DevOps in order to meet their business goals and objectives. Goals and outcomes that are measured in how do they innovate, how quickly, what's my agility like, how do I enhance the customer experience, how do I leverage new technologies like AI, IoT, blockchain, virtual reality, how do I increase my speed to market, and how do I create new revenue streams. The executive team and the board really think about how to protect the business, grow, and then attack the market opportunities. At the same time, they need to balance how do I survive, thrive, and innovate. And so the executive team, the board of directors, the solution architects, and the business units all sit down to talk about goals, programs, outcomes, workloads, and the cost to pull all that together, again, to meet the business goals and the objectives of the company. IT needs DevOps. And it's a combination of agility, process, and automation. They need to balance the rate of change, speed, and balance that with stability, consistency, and reliability. They need to also look at how do I monitor all the changes that I make? How do I manage that? And more importantly, how do I measure it? When I go from deployment to support across development, IT ops, security, and QA and test. And this is where the talent comes together. That talent, when you build a team, I always advocate building a team that is multi-generational. And what I mean by that, you want fresh eyes and wise eyes working on applications, whether it's legacy or new applications that are cloud native. When you combine fresh eyes and wise eyes, you get some very powerful dynamics of best use cases, lessons learned, and new perspectives. As you think about DevOps, there's a real process around how to really move the ball forward. And in doing so, there are a number of things where DevOps is considered, is it a product? Is it a set of tools? It's actually a combination of people, process, and culture. It is not a product. Where you have a lot of tools and skills that are currently working or in use now, how do I look at and baseline what I'm good at? What are my gaps and things of that nature? So what we actually walk through with our partners like Rahi, we actually sit down and help the client go through a discovery. How to understand their current requirements. What are the current operations and development landscapes, skill sets, And then we assess both the customer technical capabilities, their organizational challenges, as well as current processes. We then move into a design phase where we draft a solution, determine what type platforms really fit best, what are the best ways to reskill and retrain the organization. And then from the design stage, we move to delivery. How do we develop and deploy quickly a particular solution and train our clients, our customers, to basically be self-sufficient? And more importantly, we move into the optimization stage where we reassess the performance, measure, and drive continuous improvement. This cycle never ends. So the DevOps process is really key as you start to think about where you are, where you want to be, and how you're going to get there. So given that life cycle, how do you create a complete DevOps solution? And the way we look at it in multiple phases, from pre as well as post sales opportunities or environments. And this is where Lenovo and Rahi systems come together to provide a solution to drive and help you address different types of workloads. And they're all very different, from VDI, virtualization, whether you're running SAP or Oracle, big data, disaster recovery, or backup. All of these are going to rely on a scalable, secure, and agile solution that is a combination of hardware, software, and services. So when you think about our Think Agile HX engineered solution that is integrated with our compute servers and storage, as well as networking, and then providing virtualization on top of Nutanix, we actually deliver a hyper-converged solution for you to run DevOps and other workloads to help you meet your business goals and requirements. At the end of the day, DevOps, process, automation, services, and support from both Lenovo and Rahi deliver what this cutout looks like. It's a high performance tuned engine on top of a chassis, as well as instrumentation to help you get your business done. In the old days, Indianapolis 500, a tire change, 4 tire changes during a race took about 90 seconds. Today, a tire change in a Formula One pit stop, where the car comes in at 50 miles an hour, the crew is ready to go to change 4 tires in under 1.9 seconds. The orchestration, the teamwork, and the dynamics under controlled chaos is absolutely amazing. That car, when you think about it, is the application. The driver is your user. The goal of the team, both DevOps and the business, is to get that car, that application, on the track for the driver to use. So when you think about how this all comes together, from what happened with 4 tire changes in the Indianapolis 500 in the 50s, 90 seconds, to now 1.9 seconds. This is all about speed, orchestration, purpose, mission, and focus. So at the end of the day, transformation is a journey. It's never about the destination. It is always going to be that journey. And when you think about John Glenn, when he sat in Gemini 7, Friendship 7, he was ready to go, knowing that everything and everybody in the organization at NASA did everything they could to take the risk out, deliver a great plan through phenomenal teamwork and leadership like Gene Kranz, flight director for the Gemini missions. And it was all about delivering the capability to take off. So when you think about your journey around DevOps, when you think about the war for talent, when you think about addressing the 3 E's, expectations, engagement, and experience, it's all about the software, the application to deliver that. And this is where DevOps makes that huge difference. The last thing I'm going to call out is bold. BOLD actually is an acronym. When I used to lead my startups, I always told my team to be bold, but the acronym of BOLD stood for you have to believe in it, you have to own it, you have to live it, and you have to drive it. So thanks very much for taking the time to listen to the presentation, and I look forward to any questions.
Hey guys, so it looks like we do have a few questions in the chat box, so I'll go ahead and ask a couple of those. So first of all, how does the HX hyper-converged solution take the place of cloud?
Hyperconvergence doesn't really take the place of the cloud, it actually complements it. And to really describe hyperconvergence, it simplifies the data center operations on-prem or as a private cloud environment that's being hosted somewhere else. The hyperconverged infrastructure streamlines the deployment, management, and the scaling of the data center resources by combining the x86-based server and storage resources with intelligent software in a turnkey software-defined solution. So the separate servers, storage, and networks and storage arrays that we're used to can now be replaced with a single hyper-converged infrastructure solution set to create an agile data center that easily scales with your business. And it comes in two sorts of components: a distributed data plane that runs across a cluster of nodes, delivering your storage, your virtualization, and networking services for guest applications, which are either VMs or container-based applications that you create. The other aspect of it is there is a management plane that allows for the easy administration of all HCI or hyperconverged infrastructure resources from a single view, which eliminates the need for separate management solutions that you're used to today for servers, storage, and networks and virtualization.
Okay, great. And so for the second, we have what types of services are available for DevOps?
Remember I talked about the DevOps process where it starts with discover and then assess, design, deliver, and optimize. The first two elements are very critical, which is discover and assess. As we look at services that are available from Lenovo and our partners like Rahi, is the ability to look at a number of variables that are driving DevOps culture, process, and people. So when we think about these services, we're talking about services that will help you understand where you are, where you need to be, what skills you have, and things of that type. So when you think about how these services are really sort of structured, there are services that give you like acceleration workshops that to help you with your software development assessment, container and microservices consulting to help you deliver and drive and execute on creating those container applications for your business, software security code assessments. There is a software Q&A, test and improvement and release process assessment as well, and then a solution integration and optimization service. Again, there are a number of variable services and workshops that we help our clients go through as they go through their DevOps journey.
Fantastic. And for the third one, does Lenovo and or Rahi support private cloud platforms to complement public clouds?
Absolutely. There are a number of ways to look at all these private clouds that are being offered into the marketplace and the industry today. And they range from the various players from Nutanix with their HX platform to Microsoft Azure Stack, VMware's offering, Google's Anthos, and IBM's Cloud Private, or ICP as they call it, and even Red Hat. What we want to do is give clients, customers, the choice of the private cloud that fits their unique requirements to help them with their on-prem private cloud requirements as it pertains to GRC, governance, risk, and compliance, SLAs, service level agreements, and to really help them map the right workload to run on the private cloud and then to access the public cloud as required based on workload and pricing and other factors that are important to the client to deliver what I think is the right way of looking at clouds overall, which is a hybrid cloud, but that's based on application workload and application characteristics driven by GRC and SLA.
Okay guys, so it looks like time is getting a little short on us here, so I'll just ask one more. For the fourth question, why is the war for talent so critical?
One of the key assets that a lot of people look at when they look and value companies, they look at the data, they look at the P&L and the like, but one of the things I think they miss is the actual people themselves. And these people, the skills that they have is absolutely critical to deliver the digital transformation journey and the capabilities to meet customer expectations, to drive experience and engagement. These people are so critical that there is a shortage of personnel now that have the skills not only in developing software and supporting the hardware, but also understanding the business. It's very important to retain, attract, and reskill the teams that you have today. So that's why the war for talent is so critical. Again, remember, 1.1 billion applications over the next 3 years estimated by IDC, and only 18 million developers. This is a very critical aspect that is not lost on a lot of the companies today as they look at attracting talent and retaining talent. That is why the war for talent is so critical.
Alrighty guys, it looks like we are coming to the end of the webinar. So first of all, a big thanks to Ed from Lenovo. I think we can all agree it's been fantastic. And for the guys that have any questions that did not get answered, we will reach out to you individually through email and get those answered for you as soon as possible. Thanks for coming to the webinar today, and if you want any more information and to stay up to date, you can visit www.rahisystems.com, and you can also visit our YouTube channel and look for our webinar playlist. And we look forward to seeing you all next month. Cheers guys.